Coming into this assignment and learning about it, I was extremely skeptical of the words service learning. Usually, when you provide a service, there's monetary value, and that's what's been really important to me as a college student. But learning that it was going to be learning, replacing monetary value, I was skeptical. And when I arrived at Wild at Heart and the lady in charge told us that we were going to be pulling weeds for 3 hours, I was even more skeptical. I thought there was going to be desert birds and other things to learn about, and I didn't see any of that. So I was just a little upset. But then, after pulling weeds for 3 hours, I realized that a boring and mundane task can actually unfold into a knowledgeable experience about myself and communication. There were people there that knew about gardening and knew about desert flowers and desert cacti and how they're different than other plants. And I learned actually a lot about landscaping doing this. And also towards the end of the service learning, she did take us around the back and introduce us to all the birds and all of their unique qualities, and it was a really cool experience. I realized that the person next to you experiences the same situation differently from you, and there's always something to learn about their experience and learn from them, and there's always something new to learn about yourself. So one of the first things that I learned about myself is that I like to find the unique things about people. I want to hear their interesting stories. I tend to skip over small talk and go straight to what's the meaning of your tattoo, or what's your major and why are you passionate about that? Because those are the things that I remember about individuals. So that's the things that I tend to ask for. I think that that impacts me because there was one man in my group who was in the military and he told me a traumatic story about when he was on duty, and that's something I'm probably not going to forget anytime soon, and it impacted me. I also realized that a great way to start communication with strangers is through a common experience. Um, it's a way to break the ice. You just talk about what's happening. So, for example, a person next to me said that they pull weeds for their mother every other weekend. And I do the same thing. So I related to her at the time and we conversed about it. And that's how we broke the ice and started talking about other things like the meaning of her tattoo. Um, I just think that it's really important to use that common experience to open up the communication. A third thing that I learned about myself was that I'm very positive and I tend to interpret people in the most optimistic way possible. For example, we were using hoes to pull up weeds, and I've never used a hoe before. And so the person next to me was he could have said it more politely, but he was like, turn it around, do it that way. And I was like, okay. And I was just like, I smiled and I was like, okay, I'll try it. And it worked out much better. And I wasn't offensive and I just took what he said and applied it to the situation. And it actually helped us out both in the long run because we got the job done quicker. And so I think it's important that you can take criticism and not be defensive and use it because ultimately he was just trying to help us achieve our goal of finishing pulling weeds. So, overall, I think it's really important to understand that we're always learning and gaining knowledge through communication. This experience helped me see the positive aspect of pulling weeds for 3 hours when I didn't know that I was going to be rewarded with viewing all the unique birds in the back. I didn't know that was on the table, so I just used what I had to make it all worthwhile. And plus, I knew about this assignment, so I kind of milked it a little bit and tried to figure out what I was going to present on. But I think the most key important thing is that when you're faced with a challenge, it's important to remain positive and utilize communication to learn something new about yourself and others because ultimately that's all we have is knowledge and learning about each other and connecting with each other. And I had so much to learn from all the people in my group, and I had so much to learn from the lady who ran the Wild at Heart organization. And I had so much to learn about pulling weeds and landscaping and other miscellaneous extra things that I don't even know affected me. And they did affect me. So I wanted to thank you for assigning this assignment because I wouldn't have signed up for this on my own. And I really enjoyed the opportunity and I really enjoyed the service learning. And plus, it looks good on a resume. Thanks.